In terms of the dollar, we've had a bit of a move to the downside. So as I've been saying, I'm pretty bearish kind of intraday, intra-week for dollar. In terms of the overall trend, in terms of the weekly chart, daily chart, the market is still trending to the upside. We're still trading above, major resistance here, and we still very much could be on our way to the upside. You can see the daily chart still trend to the upside as well. Last significant low in the market was down here. Price hasn't gone in broken structure, hasn't invalidated that structure yet. So technically speaking, this could just be a large correction for us to continue higher, and which is something I'm still looking at with the dollar until I start to see some strong evidence otherwise. So still bullish overall. However, as I've been explaining the past few days, I'll be looking for some downside, treating this move here as more of a correction of this bearish move. Really strong push to the upside. I was actually at that point expecting price to go and take out the highs down the left and see some new highs, but we formed a lower high and we came crashing back down very impulsively. So looking at how price is moving there, very strong push to the upside, followed by a very strong push back to the downside. That is a big warning sign for the buyers. Impulse movement to the upside, followed by impulse back down. Not a healthy sign of trend continuation. You want to see impulsive moves followed by corrective moves, followed by another impulsive move. That's your textbook healthy trend, healthy trending market. If price is impulsing one way and impulsing back the other, it's a sign that we're struggling to sustain that pressure, and price has hit some big levels, which it's rejecting. And that's exactly what happened here for dollar. And we come crashing back down. So I'm looking to see if price can come back and retest the low here at 106.995. This is what I'm looking at as a correction of that bearish leg. So I'm looking for a push back down into that level. As I said in the higher time frames, we well could just see a retest, a double bottom, maybe price breaks through the low slightly, and then we have a really big move to the upside, as the overall trend for dollar is still very bullish, and we're still respecting major support on the higher time frames, which we very much could bounce from. So overall direction is still up, even though it's not the cleanest trend anymore. We're getting a bit more sideways, a bit more choppy. But in terms of the laws of market structure, which is something I abide by, the market is still respecting that. So I would still have that overall bullish bias, but I am looking at some downside there for the dollar. So that's what I've been looking for the past 2-3 days. Well, since we had that big drop there last week, really. So on EURUSD, I've been looking for a similar move, but it just hasn't been as clean. We've seen a really steep correction to the downside here, so I haven't really been favoring the same move for euro. What I have said for EURUSD was if price does break past the high here, I think there's a good chance price does make it to the high up there. So if we do see a break past this swing point, corrections and pullbacks, maybe to retest the prior high, could look really good on an intraday level to trade it back to the high there at 1.05273. Again, the exact same situation with the dollar is present here with euro, still very much in a bearish trend. This is our last major swing high, which gave us this low. Market is still respecting that, so essentially it still do have a bearish bias. However, again, really strong move to the downside, of course, with that gap. Price created a very strong low, and I'm looking at this as a pullback of that bullish move. So I do have somewhat of a bullish bias for euro. It's a bit more choppy. It's not looking as great, but I do expect to see some upside. And in terms of actually buying it, I would avoid getting involved here. This is still an area of supply, that we could very much still sell off from here. So this is still bearish territory, so I'd watch out for that. In fact, if you're looking to sell euro, it's actually a good place for that. But if you're looking to buy, you do want to see price break structure first, and then look for some opportunities on the other side of that level. Any buys here could play out, of course, but it's just a bit more aggressive since you're buying into resistance, buying to supply, and structure is not really looking that great at the moment. In terms of pound USD, I do have a position on this one. I'm currently long on pound USD. I hopped into a trade yesterday on this 4-hour candle close on the retest of that low, along with the trendline confluence there as well. But again, the idea with pound USD is I'm looking to see if I can catch another higher low, one over there, second there, third over there, potentially. Of course, not confirmed yet, but that's the idea about the trade. I'm looking to anticipate the higher low forming and targets back pretty much at the high there. Now, this is not really a longer term swing trade or a longer term position where I expect pound USD to go for a long time. Like I said, USD, I'm still overall bullish on that market, but I am expecting a temporary move to the downside And likewise with pound USD, the fact we failed at the lows here. The start of the week, I said if we do see a nice break, there could be some really nice shorts back into this low and potentially that low as well. But we didn't get that. We saw a really strong rejection of that level. Big wick to the downside, followed by a very impressive, strong 4-hour candle closure. So I hopped into position, just looking for a shorter term trade back to the high. I mean, I say shorter term, still about 150 pips the high there. But in terms of the length of the trade anyway, just looking for a trade back to the swing high, and I'll probably just close the trade completely. Not a position which I'll be looking to try and trail or try and look for too much, since the overall structure is still pretty bearish. So this is more of a counter trend position. So I have to be careful with that bias, because at any point we could very much continue back down. So as we come back to the high, that's why we're looking to take my profits, but I am looking for a push back to 1.254 for pound USD. In terms of dollar CAD, still looking for shorts for this one. Again, still teasing the break of this level here. We haven't really made that happen yet. We've tested it a few times, but looks like price is still holding onto support pretty well. Again, I'm expecting a pretty big move to the downside. I'm looking at this kind of structure here as a bit of a top for the trend. So again, really big move to the upside for USD CAD since September. And I'm looking at this as potentially a bit of a top. Again, not necessarily a top, but more of a temporary top for the market. We might have a bit of a pullback. The trend may still be to the upside, but I'm looking for a bit of a dip since we've had such a strong shift of momentum to the downside as we kind of fake the high of the range here. And of course, we've crashed into a massive weekly level as well. So I'm looking to anticipate a bit of a reaction from that level as well. Massive resistance a couple times in the weekly chart. As you can see, we're back in that same area again. So expecting to see a pretty big sell from this level. And we've already seen signs of that happening. So at the moment, in terms of entries, as I've been saying, either we get the break and retest of the current level of support. So we can see price break through this and we look for some pullbacks afterwards and look for some shorts, or price pushes back to the high of the range where, again, I'll be looking for a similar trade, again, for a similar move as well, just to be a higher price, so a better entry, stop loss, very much above the level. We'll see what type of entries we can get there. And yeah, at least looking to target the low of the range, but I will be anticipating price to break out, see if I can catch the bigger move. And the benefit of entering up here, should we catch the breakout, you can always look for re-entries and add to the trade and the retest of the low as well. So your entries there, really taking advantage of that sell. But of course, we can speak a lot more on that when the setups actually start to form. At the moment, we're still patiently waiting. So yeah, that's kind of my look on my outlook on dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, yep, still pretty much sideways, but still trading at really impressive support. So again, I'm looking at this as potentially a bit of a temporary bottom for the market as well, similar to dollar CAD, temporary top there, temporary bottom, where we could see some upside. I'm looking for us to go and break the highs here first before looking for any buying opportunities, because I want to see that sign that says, okay, buyers are back in control, and now we can look for pullbacks of that, and more upside is likely to follow. At the moment, we've broken structure to the upside, broken structure to the downside. So overall, the market doesn't really know what it's doing either. It's just pretty much flat. So I don't really want to trade it within the range. I want to see price show intent outside of it, then look for pullbacks, whether it's the retest of the high or maybe the retest of this consolidation. Again, we'll get a feel for that when the setup actually does start to shape up and does start to form. But at the moment, Aussie dollar very, very flat. So not really interested in trading price at all right now. And in terms of New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same situation, which is another consolidating market. Not really interested in trading inside the middle of the range here. Equal highs, equal lows. Again, looking for price to make that move to the upside. Show me that, okay, the buyers are back in control. And then look for pullbacks. And then upside from there will be the idea. Whether it's the retest of the high or the retest of maybe some lows down here. Again, I'm not too sure. We need the setup to form first before I do start picking and choosing which areas I'm looking to buy from. But again, similar situation on the daily chart. We've come into a major swing low here on the left and just essentially looking for a bounce from that area. So I do have a bullish bias for New Zealand dollar, despite the trend being down, simply because I'm looking for a slightly bigger pullback. In terms of gold, this one has had a bit of a correction. Still pretty bullish on gold, but I do think we're coming back to a nice area where we can start to look for some entries. So lovely resistance here on the 4-hour chart. And if I drop to the hourly, probably see it a little bit better. So as we can see those prior highs once, twice, then we had a really nice breakthrough. If gold would kind of spike through this, I feel like that could be a really nice entry to take it back to the high, which is back at 29.40, and a really healthy target there for gold, risk reward wise as well. We've got 29.50 just above us, a bit of a psychological level to keep in mind. But yeah, overall gold still very bullish, still seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows. The trend has been pretty phenomenal, to be honest. Relentless, just higher low after higher low without really looking to break structure. And we've been so consistent with that and pretty much looking to see if we can expect that to continue. Of course, at some point, gold will have a bigger pullback. It's been a pretty big move. So something like this is expected to happen with gold in the next, few days or however. Yeah, gold can be very exponential at times, as we can see previously, but we do expect to see a bigger pullback shortly, maybe to come back and retest the high there or retest the highs here. We'll have to wait and see. So that pullback will come, but at the moment, there is no sign of that happening just yet. So still very bullish on gold, expecting more upside. And we do have a really nice level of resistance, which price is just coming back to retest at the moment. So yeah, still very bullish on gold, looking for more upside. And in terms of silver, yeah, silver's been a bit more awkward, to be fair. I've looked for a slightly bigger pullback with silver before getting into any buys. And if price does have one more drop, I feel like I probably will get the entries I'm looking for. As I've been saying yesterday for silver, nice area of confidence in this area. Resistance there along with the trend line as well, similar to the setup I had on pound USD. If you could spike a little bit lower, I'd like that. The only reason why I'm looking for a slightly deeper correction for silver is because of that aggressive wick we had on Friday. Price looked as if it was going to just break the high and continue, but I had a really aggressive wick rejection there, so that's going to put me off the trade a little bit. I don't want to buy too close into that. So if you can pull away, find some more buys, test some stronger areas of confluence, I'll be more than happy with the buy. Again, the way I see silver right now is that we're pretty consistent with all these high lows. So as long as price doesn't go and break structure, that does keep me still bullish. So this is really my confluence and where it lies. If we don't see that happen, then I'll simply look for the next pullback. So if we do go and break the highs there again, then I'll be a lot more confident with the buys there as well, because we'll be kind of really breaking away from resistance here on the left. And again, expecting a longer term move back to the highs at 34.852. So very bullish on silver, very bullish on gold still. Just looking for a slightly bigger retracement for silver before finding any entries. Gold looks like a nice intraday setup, about to set up there, so keep an eye on that.